Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I am Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
We are meeting once again at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne and Calhoun Avenue. We meet each week with a fascinating member of the New Orleans restaurant and food community. And we ask them to bring along a plus one. We never know what plus one is going to be, but we do know our special guest, and we're excited tonight to have with us Megan Foreman of Gracious Bakery. We are part of the It's New Orleans network of shows, and I'm excited tonight to be able to talk to her. And but before we do that, Margot, did you know that today is our birthday for the show? It's a 1-year anniversary.
I did not know that today was our birthday. I knew another special occasion, but that's exciting.
Yeah.
1 year.
1 year. And I was looking over some of our guests we've had, and I was amazed at some of these things that we've done in the last year. Did you know, Margot, we've had about 80 guests, plus their plus ones, and including their plus ones, and we've had owners or head chefs or chefs of cuisine from everything from Midway Pizza to Martinique, from Three Muses to Toups, from Cowbell to Commanders to Company Burger, Peche to Patois to Parkway Bakery, Dominica to Diva Dog, and so many more. I counted, it represents 42 different restaurants we've had, and I did some quick math. And since all those restaurants have been within the city limits, that means we've had about 5% of every restaurant has been represented on our show over the last year. Isn't that pretty cool?
Yes,
so we do this
wonderful.
for 20 years, and no places go out of business, and no new places open. We'll be able to conquer the entire restaurant scene. We'll be able to say we've had everybody on here. We'll be the show that ate New Orleans. So guests have included chefs and servers and oyster shuckers and owners and developers and pastry chefs and bakers, lawyers, musicians, foragers, wine distributors, mixologists, book translators, professors, singers, artists, tour guides. We've had it all, right? The other thing I noticed, we've had guests or plus ones that have included 3 members of the crew of the Rolling Elvi, plus 1 female Priscilla. We've had 1 nudist on our show. We've had people born in 6 different countries. We've had 1 gunshot victim. We've had 1 person who suffers from bitchy resting face syndrome. and we've even had a Siberian Husky on the show. It's been a very good year, Margot. I think it's been a very good year. And hopefully we've helped spread some of the joy and mystery and delight of our city's awesome food culture. And we get to do that again a little bit tonight. One more step forward in that quest to celebrate our food culture. So
Exciting.
Isn't that exciting?
It is.
So did you do anything exciting food-wise this week?
No, but I got asked an interesting food question from a fan.
Okay.
We were emailed from a gentleman, Kenny Nesbitt in, maybe I shouldn't say his name, but it's all right. He lives in Edinburgh.
Scotland?
And he
Not Florida.
No.
Okay.
And he listens to our show and says he's dreaming of coming and strolling and the streets and listening to music and tasting his way through the city. And he asked if I or you have ever tasted haggis.
I have.
What is it?
Yeah, it's as I understand, I'm no expert. I haven't had it in New Orleans, but it's sort of like giblets, like it's organs.
From what?
I think from sheep. I think it's in a sheep's stomach, and they stuff it with some carbs, some breading of some sort. And it is. Here's where I had it. I had it at the. Oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the name. Who's the famous Scottish poet? Oh gosh, Burns, Robert Burns Society. There are Robert Burns societies around the world, and of course in Scotland is the most famous ones. But the oldest one in America is in New York City, and every year I used to go to the Union League, which is this real august place in New York City, and I'd wear a kilt, and I'd go for a celebration. They had a ceremonial cutting the haggis at the beginning and a long grace, and then we would have this feast of non-haggis food, because the rest of it's much better than haggis. Haggis, most people, I would agree to, haven't really developed a taste for haggis. I think it's something you got to probably acquire.
Do you taste it every year?
Every year I'd have a bite. You had to kind of have a bite, or you were being sort of a traitor, to the cause. So you had to have a bite of it. So I always had the haggis, but I never really enjoyed it, I got to be honest. And I haven't had it here. Maybe I've grown up a lot. Maybe now I would enjoy it more.
Okay. Well, that's a nice little shout out to our fan. And
awesome.
I'm glad you've at least tried it, because I've never even heard of it. Well, but speaking of New York,
before we have our guest, though, okay, you're not going to introduce the guest.
No. Okay,
because
go
I
ahead.
have one shout out I promised to make today.
Okay.
I went.
Besides that, it's your birthday.
Yeah. Well, for my birthday, I was heading towards Nile, the Ethiopian restaurant that I like so well that just reopened. And
Oh, really?
right before I got there, I noticed something that surprised me. I just heard news about District Donuts, Sliders, and Beer, it's called. And it opened when Truck Stop, the clothing store, closed, owned by Trashy Diva. I kind of was in mourning for a while, and I've been sad that space emptied out. But I noticed that the restaurant was coming in, and I heard it was opening next week. But as we went by, we saw that it was open, so we went in, and it turned out to be the opening day. Usually don't recommend going to a place on its opening day, but this was delightful. Had a great time. All three of us agreed, my daughter, my wife, and I. We went to this place, and it's donuts, sliders, mini things, and then beer. And I didn't have any of the beer, and I didn't have any of the donuts because the donut wasn't working quite yet. But I had the sliders, and they were great. They were so good. I had the pork belly slider. It was wonderful. I talked to the owner for a little while. I'm a great guy. And I really enjoyed it. And the cheese fries especially were like these waffle fries that had a really good gourmet cheese. Right away when I tasted it, it reminded me of St. J's Cheese Company, their macaroni and cheese. It tasted like that. And I don't know what kind of cheese it was, but it was wonderful. And so I don't know. I just want to give them a shout out. It was a great.
Oh,
I hope we
nice.
can have them on the show sometime. They were really. They look like they have an interesting operation going, a little bit different. And it was on the show that we did predict that there was going to be a donut explosion in New Orleans, and apparently this is starting to happen. Our friend Michael Caine is a pioneer in that, and now other people are imitating him. Blue Dot did it first, I guess, but. Well, let's enough of that. Let's meet our special guest, huh?
Yes.
What were you starting to say about it?
Well, I was just going to say, speaking of New York, I believe our guest Megan had moved to New York, and I would like to know how long ago she moved and what brought her back, and
she's
get
back.
to know her.
Megan Foreman of Gracious Bakery and Cafe.
Hi,
Good
guys.
to have you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Well, I moved to New York. Let's see. After college, I went to culinary school, and then I moved to New York I was there for about 5 years, and worked in several restaurants and pastry shops there, and then after a while there, I really missed home, and I never thought I'd come back home. It was one of those, I'm getting out of New Orleans, I'm never coming back, and then couldn't wait to give it.
Why'd you want to get out?
I just felt like, it was a small city, and it just felt like that small town thing, and of course, it feels so different now. It feels like there's so many different components to the cities within the city and little neighborhoods, and there's so much, to enjoy and experience here, and I'm so glad I'm back. But and I think that I really like that for New York because there were so many little neighborhoods and enclaves and little places to go discover, and I've found that coming back here, But I moved back.
What year did you move back?
I moved back in 2001, so right before the Trade Center happened, and so I came back and I was the pastry chef at Bayona for 5.5 years.
Wonderful. Susan Spicer
It's great.
restaurant
Yeah,
everybody loves.
she is so wonderful, and then I joined the team of Sucre to do that, and I was there for 5.5 years as well. So when I came back to New Orleans.
Now, why did you move back? What was your job? Did you say?
Well, I'm from here, so
I mean, did you have a position when you moved back, or did you move back to start a project?
Well, I moved back, and I had talked to Susan, and she needed a pastry chef, and so that was a really great incentive to come back here, and yeah, it was the best move, of course, for so many reasons, but yeah.
So how long were you there?
I was here for 5.5 years, and then I've been back since 2001. So
now, did you go to culinary school here?
I went
or
to
in
New England Culinary Institute in Vermont, in Montpelier, Vermont. So far away, different world. It was great to be up there too, because I was close to Boston, I was close to New York, I was also close to Montreal, and that was it's an incredible food city. What I really liked about it was that it was really hands-on, whereas, I'd looked at some other places and they were bigger, big stadium seating kind of college experiences for culinary school, and that just didn't seem to suit what I needed, so that's how I picked that.
Now, did you go specifically for pastries, or did you evolve into that when you...
Well, now I'm dating myself, of course, but at that time, you couldn't really specialize in pastry.
Okay.
And so there was about a month of pastry. I don't know if we really did any bread at all. You know, maybe a little bit of chocolate work, but it was mostly culinary. You know, so that was 2 years. And were 6 months in school and 6 months in an externship, and then back in school for 6 months and 6 months in an externship. So I got to go to Boston for 6 months and then New York for 6 months, and I stayed in New York. So.
Now, did you know that you were going to go into the culinary field when you were? Is this something you were passionate about beforehand, or?
Yeah, I did not at all. I went to college, like a liberal arts college, and by the time my senior year came around, people were trying to decide what they were doing. I was like, no, I want something that I love to do. I'm going to be doing it, you know, a number of hours a day, and I want to be happy doing it and be passionate about what I'm doing. So I thought, what do I love to do? And I love to cook, and I really had no idea like what that was going to be like professionally or anything like that. But I remember my mom just like, okay, you know, like, good luck with that. I mean, I've had no experience really with it, and it was the best thing, you know.
So wasn't anybody in your family in the restaurant business? You really didn't have a lot of role models growing up in that?
No, not like that. I mean, I will say my dad was great, was a really good influence on me in terms of using ingredients. You know, I hate to say local because it's so overused or whatever, but he would go hunting every season and bring back, you know, dove and quail, and he took me on my first mushroom foraging trip when I was 7.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know.
Doing.
Yeah, and we went with a guide and everything, and cooked them afterwards. And that was before anybody was like, you know, going and, you know, finding local ingredients or whatever. So he really introduced me to that kind of mentality, you know, of using what you have and using things that are
now,
seasonal.
where do you forage for mushrooms in New Orleans? You didn't do it in the city,
did
you?
No, I think it was a while back, and it was probably, outside of
High lead content and...
Yeah, exactly. But, so that was a good influence, but beyond that, no. I had, you know, dry pork chops and burnt toast a lot. So, like, I'm sure a lot of us experienced it.
Now, didn't you grow up with Margot?
Well, we were
You guys were
figuring that
besties
out.
growing up?
Yeah.
Well, I recognized her from we went to school.
Wait, you didn't know her
together.
name because that's her married name, but you saw her picture and you recognized her.
Well, yes, and I've been in the bakery, and I knew.
Have you been in the bakery?
I've not been to bakery
Oh
yet.
my gosh!
I got to get up there.
Okay, yeah, we've got to come over for sure. But you've been in the bakery.
Yes,
Okay.
and I knew, and I recognized you, and I knew we went to school together. But
So you said, I know you from somewhere. I know you from school, and wow, you must look like you did in high school then, huh?
I don't know. We all resemble each other a little bit,
I do
right?
think you look exact. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I think I do
I wish
too.
my husband said
I
that.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
you in high
you
school.
do.
I can't comment.
I didn't have gray hair then, but I
Yes. Would say.
and so did you? It was Newman, by the way, in case people are interested out there
But
listening.
now you weren't the same year, though, right?
No, we weren't the same year.
And did you go there 13 years?
I did not. I went to McGee's first, and then went to Newman. That was a shocker, being from all girls to boys, and I was an only child, so it was like, what's this? What are these people? what are these people doing?
So Newman didn't inspire you. They didn't cultivate the creativity to
The cooking?
I'm teasing.
No, yeah. You know, there was a bread club, surprisingly.
Wait, there was a bread club in your high school?
Yes, and it was like...
What in the world?
There was
Only
a
in New
guy,
Orleans.
there was one guy.
I've never heard of that.
Shout out to Alan Koch. And
Sure.
he started the bread club, and I think we made one loaf
Wait,
of
a guy
bread.
started a bread club in high school. That made him really popular.
Yeah, and he was a great guy, actually. And we made probably one loaf of bread. We had a teacher advisor. I didn't even know. I just thought...
We're all laughing. He owns like La Boulangerie
Right.
now or something
I
right
don't
now.
know. I
What
don't think
became
he does
of him?
anything,
What becomes of the guy who starts a bread club in
I
high
know.
school?
I'm going to have to find... You know, I'm
I
going to
mean, we
have
didn't
to
even
find
have
out.
a chess club or whatever, like a
Right.
bread club. That would be really odd.
Yeah.
Am I making too much of this?
Well, no. I mean, it's New Orleans. Everything revolves around food.
Everything
think.
revolves around food. I like that, though, actually.
Yeah.
And men
And
do,
actually, it was probably
men-
cool.
It is really sexy that men cook. In
This
the
is
I mean,
different
it's
in
very,
That's
Southeast
true.
Louisiana culture. I know, because, like, for example, the band was the worst thing you could be. The worst stigma you could be in my high school
Oh,
being
really?
the band. And I say it to people from New Orleans. They look at me like I'm crazy. It's really cool to be in the band in high school in New Orleans, you know?
We had a
it's
lot of
totally
cool-
different. And of course, because then you hear these bands and like they're great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much fun. Maybe the Bread Club was something really cool to be in.
Yeah,
in
I don't
Newman.
think it was that cool, but but there were several of us. It was just like a group thing to do or whatever. And I think we made one loaf of bread, and we loved our teacher advisor. He was just a cool guy.
This is during the day.
Who
in
was your
school?
teacher advisor?
No, I'm trying to think.
Let's
Is it
give him a
after-school
shout
activity?
out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what his name was.
No,
It
it's
was
part of
so
school.
long ago.
I mean,
Oh yeah, so it was a while. I don't remember his name. I'm gonna have
well,
to.
maybe
I'm gonna have to dig.
Yes, maybe
And-
if you're listening out there, email us.
Yeah.
And,
Yes. Anyone else who's in the Bread Club of Newman, I want to know how long did this last? I want to know what kind of bread you made. Who was your advisor? What kind of career choices you made after that?
Yeah, no one decided to make bread except me. I think. So I'm gonna follow up on that.
That
though.
is, please do. And
I'll
like,
email y'all.
Yes,
a-
please.
a
We'll
follow-up.
read it on the air, like whatever
so
you find in that.
I
That's
think we
fascinating to me.
should get to a little bit to the tell us what you do at the bakery and when you decided to open it up in your career and what you provide there. And
Okay,
I have
great.
been and I think it's lovely,
Oh,
but
thank
I would
you.
like to know what.
Well, that's what I think is so cool about. There's a lot of bakeries in New Orleans, but everyone kind of does, something different. And we offer a great array of pastries. And I think I would say that in our bakery, we are, again, a term that might be widely used, but chef-driven. I mean, I have a restaurant background, and, the kind of combinations that we put together can be, more unique than what you find at, maybe some other places. But right now we're doing a peanut butter and jelly croissant, we do,
Wow.
just various.
Never had that before. That
Yeah,
sounds awesome.
exactly. So we also do this thing called a cruffin.
A cruffin.
Uh-oh.
What
What
is
is
that?
that?
So it's
wait.
Okay,
I'm
I know.
sorry.
Cruffin.
Can I guess?
It needs its
Can I
own
guess?
segment. Yes, you can guess.
I don't want to insult you if it's,
Oh, you wouldn't
It's a
insult me.
croissant muffin. Oh, sorry.
No!
Oh, I blew it. What's wrong with me?
It's okay. It's
This
your
is why no one
birthday.
likes me. This is why no one likes me. Why did
That
I do
is
that?
correct, and it is one of our biggest sellers. And we roll it
Suck,
in
Margot.
hazelnut
Suck.
praline
Wait,
paste.
describe. Wait. I got to hear this from the. So
Yeah.
it is.
We roll the croissanto in praline paste, and then we put it in a muffin cup. And it's all the croissant gets toasty all around and caramelized, and it is one of our most popular.
That sounds
We
delicious.
call it the Kermit Cruffin.
Wait, the plus
Wait,
one
wait,
is
wait.
chiming
You don't-
in.
We're not
you
even
were
supposed to
to
know
be
who
quiet.
you are.
I don't know who he is. I just heard him talk. I don't know who he is. I know you speak.
All right, you can finish
Okay.
your thought, but
Well,
then
I
we'll.
had to come in on that.
Okay,
You
yes.
couldn't resist.
I couldn't resist
What-
that.
Go ahead.
Well, he does have. Can I introduce?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
This
the
is
perfect time.
Okay, this is my partner in business and life, Jay Foreman. He's also the food and dining editor at New Orleans Magazine.
So he's your husband, not your brother.
That's
not your
right.
cousin. Okay.
That's right.
Right.
And
Share a
he,
last name.
he has a lot of creative input at the bakery. So, will you explain what else?
Creative input.
Yeah. Well, no, it's the Kermit Cruffin.
Oh yes, the Kermit
Oh,
Cruffin.
Oh,
My
nice.
goodness.
Perfect name.
Yeah.
All
we,
right.
we haven't talked to Kermit about this, so I don't
Oh,
want him to
now
come
you have to pay him
after us for,
royalties.
like,
It's all out.
royalties, but-
40,000
Yeah.
listeners now are all going to hear this. Yeah. Oops. Yikes. He's a big
No,
fan.
it's
You're-
know.
it's a
No, that's
couple
honoring him.
letters
He won't
off.
care. He
It's
won't
not,
care.
Oh, that's
if
true. We
it-
could spell it different. Yeah.
Yeah,
could spell it
it's
differently.
you're not. It's not spelled Ruffins.
No,
No,
the Kermit
it's not.
Cruffin.
There you go.
And he doesn't
But he
copyright his
would
name
love-
anyway. Come on, no, he'd be really, he'd be
Oh.
flattered. I bet you'd come and play
If
for
you put, yeah, and maybe cook
Ooh,
some.
that'd be nice.
Well, we just made
outside.
125 Cruffins for a wedding parting gift.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, and this girl was so excited about it. She said it was the best wedding gift ever. So,
Wow.
giveaways at the end of the.
Now,
That's
how
nice.
did y'all come up with this?
We're like a think tank. We just it's like
Pastry
ideas are just
Pastry think
coming
tank.
out. Yeah, coming out all the time. Like Jay just came up with the pretzelata.
Pretzelata.
Pretzelata, yes. Megan had come
Wait,
up
let me,
with this.
Oh, no, I shouldn't guess that. Go ahead and guess it.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere close, but a
You might
pretzel, half pretzel with muffalata, olive dressing on it. I don't know.
So I was thinking.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
thinking
much.
muffalata and.
Megan had
pretzel
come
bread.
up with a mini pretzel baguette, and we were trying to think of a sandwich for it. And I came up with the pretzelata. That was
So it's a
like
mini
it.
baguette that's pretzel bread
yeah,
with a lot of stuff in the
homemade
middle.
olive salad, copa, ham, and provolone cheese.
Yep.
Wow,
Oh
how
my
late you
gosh.
open tonight?
Now listen, I went in and I've had just it maybe was not as creative as these two things, but it was great. So I cannot wait to try the
Yeah.
Would you have?
Krufalot.
You
No,
remember?
not Krufalot. Huh?
Would you remember
No.
you had?
No.
I saw a picture of
I-
something in your page that
I
looked
had-
amazing. Did you have some chocolate thing? What's that thing that's all shiny that's kind of like featured?
A Black Forest dessert.
No, it had to be more creatively named than that.
Oh,
Remember
really?
that?
What's a Black Forest dessert?
It's
The
got
Black Forest parfait. It looks like a black dome, kind of, and has a
No,
lot
that's
of
not
gloss.
it.
Oh.
That sounds great too. But
I
that
don't
wasn't
know.
It. I don't know.
Is that a Black
did that.
Forest cake with?
It's got chocolate mousse and it's got a glaze around it, and it's got cherry in the middle, and some vanilla cream in the
So
middle.
essentially a Black Forest cake, but a parfait.
but
of it.
fancy.
But fancier.
Yeah, a little
Cool.
fancier. So.
But we don't want people to get the wrong idea. Not everything. It's. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's not.
You serve a lot of
so
vegetables too, right?
schmancy
We
that
do
people
serve
are
roasted vegetables. No, so we do. We make all of our own breads. We do all of our own pastries. Everything's from scratch. We serve lunch, breakfast, catering. We deliver.
You don't.
so-
Wait.
You deliver?
We deliver for businesses.
Oh,
Yep.
for business. Okay.
So
That's
Yeah,
be a big
business,
order.
business
yeah,
catering,
well,
yeah.
it's a decent. I mean,
Yeah, $80 minimum.
I mean, I can't order like one
not one.
cruffin and have you
No.
deliver it to Uptown for me, right? On a
Because
bicycle
I'm
or
the,
something.
I'm
no.
the delivery boy.
Okay.
So
That'll be $2.50.
yeah, exactly.
Here, let's just make it three.
creative person and delivery guy.
I know. It
Yeah.
really
Yes.
does.
Well,
a
your
lot of-
webpage says
lot of
you
stuff.
are. What are you? You're the dude or something. What is it?
some dude.
Some dude. That's your official title. Some dude.
I just float. I do whatever I can to make her job easier,
All right.
How
so she can be
supportive.
in the kitchen
Isn't that the
making
best?
cruffins.
Yeah.
Let's back up for a second. So, how'd you meet? Did you meet in culinary school? Did you meet in New Orleans, or where'd you
No,
meet?
It's
Man,
funny.
New York,
we
where'd you meet?
we met here in New Orleans, but we went to the same school together. She knew both my sisters.
You went to Newman too?
up
Oh.
until right up until high school. Then I left to go to boarding school. But she knew my sister at Newman, and then also my other sister at college at Vanderbilt. I never.
And
met
she looked
her.
at your sister and said, "If this girl was just a guy,
Yeah. I was like, I would love that.
if she was a
Right.
male, I would really
Yeah,
like that."
that's hot. Right.
Is that what happened? No.
I hope not.
No. But
Sorry.
we were like crossing paths in New York a lot, but never met.
Yeah,
in New
that's
York.
right. Because
And
I was
then-
in New York at the same time.
You were in New York at the same time as her.
Yeah,
But we
Yeah.
and he worked 2 blocks from where I
And it's
lived.
such a small town. It's amazing.
We
They
just-
bump into each
right?
other.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
So-
when did y'all realize you both lived in New York at the same time? Like, had
After.
like your-
After.
after.
Right after.
Okay.
we
Yeah,
met,
yeah.
yeah. So we met here, and that was it.
Well, were y'all set up by your sister, or you just? How did you meet?
No, no.
Newman-
we just-
Newman,
we met
homecoming?
through some mutual friends here.
Okay.
So, and then we sort of connected the
After
dots.
you moved back,
Yeah,
and,
after we
and
moved.
when
Yeah,
it-
this would have been in 2003.
And your first couple dates, you had plenty to talk about. When there was a lull, you just talked about Newman's stories and the bread club. And
There was never a lull, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. So great partner in business. We were gonna open, like a year ago, and someone said to me, "Have you ever worked with your husband before? That could really be bad." And I was like, "Oh, maybe it could be, but it's been great."
It's
wait, now
act-
how long have you been open?
A
you
year,
said?
a little over a year.
Just a
yeah.
year. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we actually got married during the Katrina evacuation.
Wait, you
So-
got married during the evacuation?
during the actual
In New
had y'all
Orleans?
planned on getting married at that time?
Yeah,
or-
we evacuated and took with us our wedding invitations.
It's like
to,
finish,
to
up the,
stuff.
finish up the ceremony. The
We
water's
thought
got
we
up to my
wouldn't
knee,
have
or-
anything to do.
Wow.
We'll just bring these. We put them in the envelopes while we wait this out, and then
of course,
all of a sudden,
when
it
happened.
turned into such a big deal.
Wait a second. So were you supposed to get married here?
Yes,
We were supposed to get
But
married
you didn't get married here.
We get married here.
We
You got
ended up-
married in another town.
in Uncertain, Texas.
The
Uncertain.
name of the town is
Yes.
Uncertain,
Yes.
Texas.
Uh-huh.
Now, I guess you didn't need
Somebody should
72
write a book
hours
about
to get
y'all.
the license there. It was a few days later, I guess. It was a delay, or
Well, no, it was about a month after the storm.
Oh, a
we
month
had
after the storm,
we had
okay.
evacuated up there. Some friends of our family had like a little fishing camp out on a bayou outside of Shreveport in Uncertain, Texas.
So we just said we're doing
And
it.
so we just do it. We got a justice of the peace came over, and we got married on a deck overlooking the water there. And right as we were exchanging our vows, a big old party barge of rednecks just came by, and they heard "I do," and they all went "Woo!" drinking their beers, and then we took off on our honeymoon because at that point our trip was already planned and paid for. We didn't want to miss it. So
What a way to redeem the disaster, huh?
It was a
this
good
horrible
way.
thing happens, and you
It
say,
all
okay, we're
worked
going to
out.
turn this into something beautiful.
we also catered our own wedding with our FEMA food stamp card. Went down to the Walmart and bought a bunch of stuff, and she made the wedding cake.
That's right. Yeah.
And a
so
croquet-
Did you
Douche
plan?
for
You
me.
didn't plan to do that originally.
That wasn't the original plan. No.
That was not the original plan.
no, it was not the
Wow.
original plan. It was good. It ended up being really good.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah.
a good story now.
Yeah, it is a good story.
Were you able to find the stuff you wanted in uncertain
I mean,
Texas?
Yeah,
Didn't matter that much.
it didn't matter. And you know what? Stripping away all that like stuff, around a formal wedding, it was a nice thing to experience.
Yeah, frankly,
so.
it got me off the hook for like all the wedding stuff that the guy would normally have to go through. It just made it a lot
Tuxedo
easier.
and
So it's a
everything
much
else,
smaller guest list.
Yeah,
just
it was
family,
like 10
yeah.
people. Yeah.
And everybody understood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
So did it save anybody some money too, or did you lose your deposit?
no, it saved quite a bit of money, I would think, right?
Yeah.
that was
You
good
may have
too.
needed that though to come back. and
Right.
Get started again, huh?
No, but yeah. So we've been, we opened this a year ago, just over a year ago.
Just over a year.
Yeah.
We opened actually the weekend before Isaac hit, and then
What is with you and
I
hurricanes?
know,
Wow.
if they
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
us, but we think they're good luck because
Yeah.
they followed us on 2 good occasions. So
yeah,
Right. Okay. So the first hurricane comes, and you get married right after that. Second hurricane comes, and you open your business right after that.
right. We
Well,
had
to
to close.
back up even more, I used to go to University of Miami. In 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit and forced me back to Tulane. So that's where I finished
all these
college.
The
conversions.
hurricane came
Yeah.
and forced you to Tulane,
You guys, you
and
might
that's
just
why
want
you're-
to pay me to go away. I think live somewhere
no,
else.
Wait, there's a pattern here. We got to think about this. I think like hurricanes come and great things happen to you. Disasters happen to the rest of us, but Foreman's come out doing great.
Oh Lord.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
good
so.
stuff.
Yeah, you're afraid to answer that one.
Yeah,
Like, what's gonna happen? I'm
exactly.
gonna come home and
So we're when y'all decided to open this Gracious Bakery, had you what did you get support from? You were working at
I was at Sucre.
Sucre,
Mm-hmm.
and were they excited for you? And
Yeah, I had made a decision to leave and start my own business, and that was sort of like always in the cards. And I had a great experience working there. I learned so much from Tarek.
And you helped
Hannah,
start them,
Joel.
right?
I was there helping open. I was the assistant pastry chef. So yeah, before we even opened the doors to Sucre, we were all working together, and it was a great experience. And so this is clearly a different direction too. Just my style is a lot more rustic, and just kind of. And I was always looking forward to having a foot back in savory a little bit, sandwiches, and so what we like doing, like a little bit. They're sandwiches, but they're thoughtful sandwiches. Like St. James, we really love that. We love tartine. We thought,
Oh, we
this is
do too, yeah.
Great, yeah. So
Tartine's awesome.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And so we, I kept passing by this building.
yeah, I want you to tell us.
Yeah, and so
for our
well,
listeners who don't know where you are and.
So we're located on South Jeff Davis and Euphrosyne Street, and it's across from Fox 8 News. It's right there next to the Coca-Cola bottling.
Kind of near Xavier.
Right near Xavier,
Yeah.
yeah. And so the Sucre Commissary is right down the street from there, and we'd drive around, and there was no place to get lunch, wherever anybody was talking about getting lunch. So we passed by this building, and it was going up, and the Woodward building is gorgeous. It's a LEED certified, silver certified building. And so I don't know, I had a feeling, and I was like, I want to go there, and it's kind of, because a lot of people said, what are you doing? Like, this is in the middle of nowhere, it's sort of, people come and go, but are they going to stop, and we just knew it was a good thing, it was just like one of those, felt it was the right
It's
place.
definitely a growing area.
It
though,
is.
isn't
It
Yeah.
is. It is really
And
growing.
it's between Mid City and Uptown.
Exactly.
It's like and Old Metairie and
It's
Yeah. I
a
don't
shortcut
know,
that
it's-
everybody takes. Everybody
Yeah.
passes through there.
Yeah.
There really wasn't anything there to cater to that.
Well,
There's
we
also
feel-
a lot of businesses back in that area.
Yeah, there are.
That Megan knew from her experience at Sucre's commissary that just it was underserved.
And we feel like, magazine was a little saturated for what we wanted to do. So it was great to just get away from the throngs and have a place to park and, all that kind of stuff. So, oh, is there a fork going into cake?
well,
I wonder if you make birthday cake. Do you?
We do. We do. There you go.
Looks very succulent too.
Y'all have brought a beautiful piece of cake to celebrate
Luscious,
Ray's
yeah.
birthday. Can you tell us what it is?
Yeah, it's our pecan truffle brownie cake.
Wow.
So-
Pecan truffle brownie. Wow.
Yeah, it's basically a brownie, and it's got a lot of pecan liqueur, our local Sazerac
Sazerac.
company pecan liqueur, which we love. It's great. It's like so true pecan flavor, like New Orleans, pecan flavor, whatever. And pecan simple syrup and chocolate cake. So
You can probably eat this for things besides birthdays too, right?
you can eat it whenever. Afternoon snack, right?
Breakfast.
all right.
Yeah, breakfast.
Here we go.
We do
now
some
I got
of
to
that.
tell you, I got to warn you first.
Okay.
I lie about everything.
Okay.
Except theology and food, because those are the two things that matter the most to me in life. You know.
Okay.
And I think God will zap me if I lie about either one of those. So I have to give you an honest assessment. If I
Okay.
don't like it, you're going to hear it.
Oh, that's fine.
That's so good. Wow, that's good.
Acceptable. Are you going to dive in, Margot?
Yeah, you got to have some of this, Margot.
Yeah.
Please. Don't have too much of it though, because I want to have the rest of it. But no, I'm just kidding. You have a big bite. This is great. I can see what you say about the liqueur too. It's just like really, it's not overpowering. It just sort of like brings out
No,
everything else.
now
in it.
I
It's
have
great.
to be honest
The
with y'all.
essence of pecan.
That is amazing.
Oh, great.
And it really means a lot that I say that because I don't eat nuts or
yeah?
chocolate.
Oh my gosh.
And it is really good.
Have you just discovered what you're missing out on? Nuts
Yes,
and chocolate?
well, this could be the conversion because it's.
It could be the conversion.
I'm actually allergic
Really?
to nuts, but I don't care. I eat it
I
anyway.
would have
Happy
told y'all
birthday.
if I would swell up and die. I mean, Ray has eaten glass here.
Yeah, I ate
and
glass
it
on
would
the
be
show once.
exciting
Really?
if
Wow.
I, swelled up
Yeah.
and
I really did.
had needed
I ate glass.
tracheotomy
Safety
or whatever
glass,
on
or-
the show.
No, real glass. I pulled glass out of my mouth and I said, "What's this?" I thought it was a piece of ice.
Oh,
And
my
I realized it
God.
was a big honking chunk of glass that could kill an elephant. And then I realized
That
there's other
really
pieces
does-
of glass in my glass, so I probably swallowed a few. So I started, but we tried to keep going with the show.
But you know what? We bring it up every couple months, and it's still horrifying. You live.
It is horrifying, but I lived. We learned I have another superpower.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is really good.
Good, thank y'all. So you can come by and check out the pastries.
so good.
And
that's good.
sandwiches and desserts. We have a whole lot of desserts too that we
Yep.
do.
All right, this sounds like a good time for the book of questions.
Well, I'm looking, and I think I might have left it in the car.
You left the book of questions in the car?
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to.
What to make one up?
Yeah.
If you had choice between eating glass or no, I don't know. What would be? That's how they are. You know the book of questions. Have you guys ever seen that?
I haven't seen it.
It's this really cheesy
like a
80s thing
standard.
that we
Oh,
do every
really?
show, and it has these really earnest questions, that are always like philosophical but like really corny.
Like
Oh, we
if
gotta
you
go
were
get
in a a lifeboat with your husband and
Oh.
mother-in-law, who would you
Who would you eat?
only-
Mother-in-law or your
yes.
husband? Who
Or,
would you eat?
You
Who
you
would
could
you
only
eat?
throw over. You needed to throw over one person to survive.
Yeah.
Who would it be?
All right, we'll skip the book of questions.
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
The
Was I
world
supposed to
will go
answer
on.
that?
Yeah, you can if you'd like.
Unfortunately, my mother-in-law is no longer with us, so I would definitely eat
So that'd
my
be kinda
husband.
gross.
It'd be
Yeah.
not appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless.
Well, let's
yeah.
get serious. You were. Now, did I read that you were nominated for a Rising Chef Award?
Yeah, I
or,
received that in 2000. I guess it was 5. I don't remember.
Yeah,
That was-
Rising Star Pastry
Rising
Chef.
Star
Rising
Pastry Chef.
Star
Yeah, that's
Pastry Chef.
starchefs.com. They do a lot of. It's a really interesting site, and a lot of chefs from New Orleans have been awarded that as well. Yeah, so they just did recently an entire Star Chefs party here to honor New Orleans chefs. Like, I know.
Was Philip Lopez one
Yeah,
of them?
Philip and
I can't remember the others
like
offhand.
probably Aaron Burgo and
Yeah.
Oh, we had Aaron
all
on the
those
show.
guys.
We love
Oh,
Aaron.
yeah.
Maybe Justin DeVilliers.
oh, I'm sure.
Oh, Justin,
yeah.
yeah, from Le Petit Grocery.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
So when y'all were your work has been recognized in other publications, and what does that mean? Like,
Well, yeah, you've been like
share
what? The
with-
New York Daily News, Pastry Art and Design, Modern Bride, Chocolatier
Is it like
and Art.
pictures
right?
and
It's
and the ni-
pictures. Yeah, it's pictures, and that was like one of them when I was in New York, and then one time I was in Bayonne and I was Rising Star was at Bayona. And then we just recently got named one of America's best bakeries by travelandleisure.com.
Wow.
Which is awesome.
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
was really nice.
Now,
I
did you
know.
see a bump after that, or did it matter?
No, I don't. Did we? I don't think. Maybe
think
a little bit. It's hard
maybe
to
a little
track. Like, it's hard to say.
Right.
It's Wednesday and it's raining, or it's Thursday and it's
Right,
you know, whatever. You just don't know.
But then Food and Wine just came and shot, and we're going to run in their January issue.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
for
are really
places
being-
to go next in New Orleans. They're going to do a little feature about like where to go next in New Orleans, and I think Wayfair is
Wayfair's gonna
included.
be in that
and
issue, yeah.
Oh, we like
Yes,
Wayfair, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, that's
Well,
so
that's neat
nice
because you're
that
not in the touristy
being
areas too. It's
recognized.
a lot of these,
Exactly.
a lot of these travel magazines I've noticed tend to focus on the really touristy areas, either
Yeah.
Magazine Street or the French Quarter or whatever.
Yeah.
So to be off the beaten path and
That's
be honored
right.
like that means that
Exactly.
they were really taken
Right.
by you.
it's saying rent a car
Yeah.
and get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to come across it. You have to look for it, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what that means for us is just it does mean a boost, you know, especially like those Food and Wine and stuff like that. It's really great. So
So Jan, I'm wondering, what did you do before the bakery? Before you partnered with your wife?
Oh, well, I work for an educational software company. It's sort of a 9-to-5 job, and I'm also the food and dining editor for New Orleans Magazine.
You were the food and dining. You still are, or you were?
Still am, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, I must have read your thing a million times. So I've
Yeah,
been subscribing to that for
so-
years. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I've been doing that since 2006. So, yeah, I've been part of Renaissance Publishing for a long time now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get into that?
Into the food writing?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of happened into it. I was working for WDSU. I was the morning news editor there, and I wrote up some of the morning cooking segments that they did. And I just happened to be looking at a freelance freelance writing site where they were looking for someone to do some food writing, and I used that as one of my clips and kind of leveraged that into some stuff with Louisiana Cooking Magazine. And then a friend of mine at the software company introduced me to some people with St. Charles Avenue Magazine, and I started doing the Hot Plates blog for them, or the column for them, and that turned into New Orleans Magazine, and I've been doing that ever since. So.
not a bad, you know,
Yeah.
job
Yeah,
to
for
have.
for local writing, it doesn't get any better than that. That's
yeah,
great.
It's great, and
Yeah.
you could do some research, you know, on the side.
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are our date
it's,
nights.
It's really nice. You know, the expense account is.
I was
is
gonna
pretty
say, yeah,
awesome,
you get the expensive,
Thank
pretty
you,
cool
Errol
meals.
Laborde, very much. Yeah.
And do you feel writing about food? What is your philosophy? I mean, you don't seem to, you're celebrating what people do more than like,
Yeah.
What's the difference between a food writer and, let's say, a critic or a?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know,
Or you
I
could
don't
just
do
talk
I
personally.
don't do criticism. You know, I do more like
You're not
reviews.
slamming
I'm
somebody
not
in
slamming
there, no.
someone, cause,
which
'cause
is a nice
frankly,
position to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be put in that position to be critical of people, because even now, like as a restaurant owner, like I've seen what can happen on a bad day.
Right.
That's, you know, and then if someone comes in and judges you on that experience and puts the word out, then you know you can really hurt a lot of people like that. And in order to be a critic, you have to revisit the same place over and over. There's really not a lot of media outfits that can really afford to support a critic that really does what a critic's supposed to do. So I do more of like, you know, kind of what's going on by neighborhood, by chef, what's new, by cuisine and stuff like that. I just kind of like to, you know, kind of shine a light over what's going on in terms of the food community here in New Orleans.
Yeah, I noticed it's a lot of shorter kind of. It's things clustered together. A lot of shorter things on each one.
Yeah,
Right?
typically I'll do like a 950-word column, and it'll usually cover 3 different places.
Okay.
So usually along a theme, like be it neighborhood or cuisine or that kind of thing. So
Now you just mentioned a bad day. You said you know what happens in a bad day. Give us an example of a bad day you've had at the bakery. What's
May
that
I?
look like?
please,
Tell us your worst day.
Like, okay, well, a couple
Have you
weeks.
killed anyone? Have you poisoned
No,
anyone?
no,
Not yet.
not
Okay.
yet.
Fed
yeah.
them glass.
We had 3 people
Yeah, any
all
glass in
sick
the
on
food?
the. No, we haven't had that,
Okay.
thank God. But 3 people sick on the same day,
You're doing better than Ted.
and that was. And that'll send. And of course, we're thinking, please don't let it be busy today. Of course, it's busy. You know, like that's how Murphy's Law works. And I think that everyone did a great job, but you're kind of like treading water on days like that, and I mean, it's the people. It's just the people are what make it happen. Like, we have great employees. We have
Now, how many
great
do you
employees.
have? You have 3 employees on a given day working with you, or
No, we have about 7 or 8.
7 or
yeah.
8?
Well, because we have total, and we have 3
through the different shifts? Or?
Yeah, so we have
Okay.
2 in the front and 5 in the back. So yeah,
Wow,
so
that's a big
And
operation.
what
for a
time
bakery,
does your
isn't it?
day start?
Yeah, it's
my day starts at. It used to start at 4:30. Now it starts at 8. So
Great.
yeah, I know. What I found, we have this great couple. It's a husband and wife team. Who are the baker and the pastry. So they bake everything off in the morning, and every morning, and they do a great job.
Are they
and
the first ones there, or are you?
They're the first ones there.
Okay.
I used to be the first one there, but they wanted to work together, so it was wonderful.
You have any kids?
We
Yeah,
do. We have a 4-year-old.
4-year-old daughter.
That slows you down a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, and she is not a big fan of sleeping, so that can slow us down a little bit too. But she's fantastic.
I heard
so.
the kids sleep better if you just give them a lot of sugar. You probably just bring them to the bakery and just give, every time she
Yeah.
cries,
Yeah.
just give her some sugar.
Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
Well, she always. How old is your daughter?
Mine's 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's
so
right
you've been
over
through
there.
it. Oh, okay. So
And I have-
she's been
She's the
through
one in
that.
the sugar coma from the
Right.
malt.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
My
So you've been
son's
through that.
14's running around here somewhere,
Oh
too. I
yeah.
don't see him
Okay.
anymore. I don't know where he is.
Yeah, so but yeah, I don't know. It both gives energy, I think, and it's a real motivator, And she always says, "Mommy, did you bring me a pastry?" When I come home at night, she loves it.
You bring
so.
a pastry home every night?
Not every night. And tonight she saw your cake box, and she said, "Is that for me?" And I said, "No, it's not." Sorry. But yeah, she loves it. So
So I would think that'd be a powerful motivator with kids. If you
It
Although
is.
she's probably jaded. She's probably used to absinthe in her pile.
Yeah.
Cake all the time. and
Well, for
whatever.
her healthy snack,
Yeah.
I was responsible for bringing recently. It was croissants, and
You give her like a hostess or something, she's going to spit it out
yeah,
at this point.
yeah, that's true.
Well, we have
Antonym.
a cabinet with nice baking ingredients in it, and she knows how to get in there and just get like the Valrhona chocolate. She
Yeah, she
goes
knows
for
where to
that.
go.
She kind of sidesteps
yeah,
the cheap
she's
stuff.
like Hershey's, no thanks.
Wow.
I'll go for that. Yeah,
She's not going to be starting a bread
Sophisticated
club
palate
in,
for-
in high school. She's going to be starting
Chocolate.
chocolatiering
Yeah.
club or something, right? Yeah.
that's next.
That's next.
Oh my
Elementary
gosh.
school. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So how do you both stay so skinny eating all this stuff? Are you like wine tasters that spit it out, the sommeliers that in a cup? Do you chew it and you spit it out? You don't swallow any of your baked goods? Like, what's the deal?
Well, Jay has good genes, but I think me, like, I'm just running around a lot. Running around a lot.
She's on her feet all the time. And I'm trying to let myself go. It's just not catching up with me. But
Huh.
get
You're
me
trying
in
to
a-
let yourself
get,
go?
Get me in a few years. I might be 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like, I'm trying to gain weight, I just can't do it.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a little. But no, it's it's always. I mean, that's how I always want to eat sandwiches now, and I always want. I mean, I crave our food. It's good food. I'm proud of it, and all the people that put it together. So
Yeah, and just something as simple as like a nice baguette, some nice Plugra butter, and a pinch of sea salt. I mean, it's so simple but so good.
Oh, yeah.
I never
good
get
quality
tired of that.
ingredients and
Nice.
yeah.
All right,
Wrapped
so
around my waist.
so how back to the employee stuff? I'm just interested. We haven't talked much about management.
Yeah.
So if you
God.
had to fire anybody for eating too much on the job,
You mean today?
you fired somebody today?
I didn't.
Yeah, but
Whoa.
not for eating too much on the job. That has not
No,
been
that would
an
be awful.
issue yet. Yeah, that hasn't been an issue. But I mean, that's restaurant business.
Is this the first time you've had to fire someone in your own place?
Let someone go in my own place? Yeah, that's been actually the first time I've really
That's
let
a pretty
somebody
good track
go.
record. Then, if you
Yeah.
have 7 or 8 people
Yeah.
a day.
Of course, I've had to do it, prior to that, so I'm not a stranger to it, But I think that.
Okay, so why was today fired?
Today was just.
If you can say, I don't want you to get sued by any.
No, I
okay.
don't think. The person did a really poor performance of having the chills, like the flu chills. And I'm a mom, and I'm also 40 years old, and you know what that looks like for real. And
Wait a second. She's in front of you going, I need to go home.
No,
I'm
it's a
sick.
guy.
A guy is
Yeah.
saying, I really need
Yeah,
to go
what's
home.
wrong
sick.
with you
Yeah.
assuming it was a woman?
Oh boy,
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother show.
well,
Come
no,
on.
that's
Go
the
ahead.
thing is that I mean, I told Jay, I'm like, I think I'm going to hire all women because they're.
Well, no, because she said mom. That's what did it to me subliminally. She was talking about mom, so I started picturing
Oh,
moms.
yeah.
Okay, so this guy's faking, so he's sitting in front of you going, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
That's
is he
exactly what it looked
having
like.
is he having real symptoms
And
like
you just look at him and
withdrawals?
go,
Yeah, that could be.
You're gonna feel terrible. If this guy has
I
like
mean-
the plague, right? He's got like he's got
Yeah.
like West Nile virus, so you just like
Yeah.
fired him for faking it.
Yeah, well, there were some other things prior to this, and this
Oh,
just
it's
sort
not
of
the first
sealed
time?
the deal. Yeah, it was like, maybe it's just best we part ways. And he said, that's a great idea. So it was wonderful.
So he wanted to be fired.
Yeah, he wanted to be fired. Yeah.
So that, maybe he planned it. He said, "Okay, what more can I do? I've been coming in here faking all this
Yeah,
stuff for months."
yeah, and
they
he's
won't
only
fire me."
he's only been there for 3 weeks. He's not really interested in working. Sometimes there are people who just apply for jobs who just really don't want to work.
Well, it
you
is
know,
a
so-
cool spot. I mean, I could see being lured into the environment. It's beautiful, and it's the food is great, and
Yeah.
maybe they thought they could get paid to hang out and
Yeah.
to hang
Well,
out.
tell us,
They're
tell us a little more
Yeah.
about that spot too.
Yeah.
What's going on? Isn't there the hospital there? Is that ever going to get fixed up?
I hope so. Yeah,
I hear things about that.
Which
from
one?
time
The
to time.
Lindsay Boggs Center?
Yeah, Lindsay Boggs Center.
Yeah, that's supposed to get.
I mean, someone
fixed
bought
up.
it, and
Yeah,
they did a
they
little bit of
working
work,
on
and then
it.
it kind of stopped for a while. And I'm always
Yeah.
excited
Wait.
to see it.
this is speaking of buildings, and I want to get back.
Oh.
Their building, you said LEED certified.
LEED Silver
Now-
certified. Yeah.
Now, does that affect what type of equipment you can put in?
no, it doesn't. It doesn't
Or, like,
extend to.
do they expect efficiency and
No, I think that the LEED. I don't know a whole lot about the LEED certification process, but it really had to do with the way that the building was engineered in terms of what went into its construction, its insulation, its energy efficiency.
we
they
just
get
waste
something
energy
like,
though.
yeah.
yeah, they get something like 35% of their power is generated from solar panels on their roof. And if you look at the building, it's oriented at an odd angle to the street, and they did that to get the optimum amount of light. And they have a garden on their rooftop.
Wow.
Do y'all
it's
use
cool.
any of the?
We don't.
No,
Yeah.
we don't use any of that.
I have a garden in the backyard, so it's. In our
Yeah, we
backyard.
grow a lot. Actually, we do grow a lot of our herbs at home. But
Nice.
and then but the building's. I mean, it's very well insulated. It's got very thick glass. I mean, it's.
In the neighborhood, it's definitely Xavier's bought a lot of
Yeah.
property, and
Yeah.
there's a Gibbs construction
Yeah,
building
Gibbs
that
just
went up.
overhauled a building about a block
Yeah.
down.
Way out of time.
All right, I'm going to change subjects really fast because we only have less than a minute
Less
left,
than a minute.
unfortunately. I can't believe how fast this went. And I just
Wow.
wanted to ask real fast. Okay, tell me the best thing and the worst thing about Susan Spicer after working with her for 5 years. Come on.
Oh my gosh. The best. Okay, the worst thing is how great she looks in her tight pants at 50 years old.
Come on, you can't do that.
She-
That's like an
did you
interview.
say
Like, what's your
50?
worst quality?
She's
I work
over
too
50.
hard.
She's
I'm
over
an
50.
I mean, sorry,
She
Susan.
is
I'm just
fabulous.
saying because you
She
look
is
so
fabulous.
wonderful.
We all know that about her, Ray. Come on, something else
I
bad
know.
about
No,
her. Come
the
on,
best.
one thing.
They're the best. She
She's
was a
too
great
awesome not to have
woman
problems.
chef.
Trouble
Yeah, he wants to
before-
give me. I'm
Yeah.
not going to get in trouble.
All right, that's fine.
the
We'll let you
best
off the
one-
hook.
The best, but she's a great mentor, woman chef, like example. Like she can do it as hard and as long as any of the guys.
And she's
Half
the real
her
deal.
age.
We always hear, right? I
She
mean,
is the real
she's
deal.
Yeah, she is
Absolutely.
what you think she is.
Oh
She
yeah,
really is
she's.
there.
I mean, on the line, cooking,
Cool.
etc. Sorry. So we love her.
All
love
right.
you,
Well,
Susan.
unfortunately, we're out of time. I'm so sorry.
Thanks for having us.
But it was so wonderful
So
having
good.
you here.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so
Yes,
much.
thank you. Our guests have been Megan and Jay Foreman of Gracious Bakery.
And you're due to come.
And tell us
Yes,
your,
tell us your address.
hours and
Okay.
address.
Hours
yeah.
Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 3, and then Saturday 8 to 2. And we're looking to extend soon. So
Great. And what's your web address? Any other contact
Facebook,
information?
Twitter. We're on Facebook, Gracious Bakery, graciousbakery.com, and follow us on Twitter for all kinds of. We do classes. We have all kinds of fun stuff going on.
we need
So
to get into that. That
yeah,
sounds
we
wonderful.
know what we're talking about, so.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Thank
you so
y'all
much. Yeah,
very
well, we'll
much.
have
Thank you
all
so
that on our
much.
website, it's neworleans.com. And we want to thank you so much, Gracious Bakery, for being here.
And happy
you.
birthday.
Happy
Thanks.
birthday.
All right.
Thank you.
Our show is recorded live at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne Avenue in Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans. Ted's is open 7 days a week, serving first-class burgers, beer, and their awesome homemade root beer in a frosty mug. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris, and Chris Keogh is our technical director. And this fabulous audio quality that you hear is by PreSonus Audio Electronics. Makes all kinds of wonderful things. Visit PreSonus.com for more information. You can get in touch with us here at Midnight Menu Plus One by going to our website. It's neworleans.com, and from there you can follow us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, sign up for our mailing list, get all kinds of swag. And while you're at itsneworleans.com, you can listen to other episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and our other shows, Happy Hour, Mindset, True to the Game, Viet Nola, Out to Lunch, and others. And if you listen to the show on iTunes, please rate us and review us. It helps other people to find us. Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. So we meet here again at Ted's Frost Top. I am Ray Kanata.
And I'm Margot Moss. Thanks.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potty mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.